Welcome to this week's Let Us Reason Together, the Friday edition. We're glad that you're joining us this week. This is the fourth show in a series that we're doing. But this show, Let Us Reason Together, is based on Isaiah 1:18, which says, "Come now, let us reason together, says the Lord. Though your sins are as scarlet, they will be as white as snow. Though they are red like crimson, they will be like wool." Do you recognize the world anymore? Is it flat? Is it round? Is it flat and round? Maybe like an ashtray made in shop class. Well, only the guys will understand that one. This is just one of thousands of theories that have surfaced in the past 70 years. On this week's episode of Let Us Reason Together, Rabbi David Weiss, man of God Larry Segeri, and me, Mark David Smith, are going to continue our journey through the last 70 years of our lives and the changes we've seen through those 70 years. Some people call us ancient. Some people call us geezers or curmudgeons, but we're really just three old guys who have lived most of those 70 years serving the one and only true God, the God of Abraham, Yitzhak, and Yaakov. On our last show, we shared several aspects of what we remember of the past 70 years. Mostly we talked about the internet, electronic mail, music stations, on demand, the telephone, both physical and video. I've got a short little video I want to show here to kind of show how we feel about using a phone for the past 70 years. So let me show this.
What's your number? I asked you a question. You didn't answer it.
4351.
Was it like 2, 1,
No.
4? What?
Oh, you're wrong.
It's 214 what?
Oh, no, I was saying you're right. But that's right. I thought you had to spin it around.
What's your
Oh,
number?
I think I know what it is.
What's your number there?
Hang on. I got it. I know how to do it. Move. I know how to do it. I got it.
Well, if I did that, I just called Mom.
You didn't do it right.
What's up?
Hang on.
The show's broken.
Do I have to let it go back every time?
Watch it be broke. I feel like it's broke.
No, because you just answered it.
You have to pick up the phone first. You have to pick up the phone.
So, where are we? Hello? Where am I? Oh, here I am. Sorry about that. So that now you know how we feel when we're talking about the old way of doing things. And come on, stop. All right. So let's get back to it. So let's bring in our friends here and Rabbi David Weiss and man of God, Lawrence Segeri. And this week we're going to finish off with our internet stuff. And so have you guys been having fun with this new topic we're doing on the show here?
Oh, yeah.
How fun it is.
I just looked up the definition of curmudgeon, and I don't know why I would be called an ill-tempered person full of resentment and stubborn notions. I have no idea what you're talking about.
You kids, get off the lawn.
There you go. That's it. What was Dennis the Menace? What was the guy's name? The old guy that lived next door to him, Mr. Something. You could call him a curmudgeon.
Yeah.
Dennis,
But Dennis always liked him.
Yeah.
he did. He did. And the guy just kept on, kept on. And if you have no idea who Dennis the Menace is, then it's a good thing you're watching this show.
That's right.
Because we're going to set some things straight, I think. Anyway, let's start with websites and web pages versus other older physical ways of communication. For instance, websites now are digital newspapers, magazines, and other publications, and they can now be accessed in full on a web page. It's like trying to think back in our younger years. We never would have thought that there would be another way to look at magazines and newspapers. We never even considered a different way of doing it.
Yeah, in our town we had a morning newspaper and we had an afternoon newspaper.
Wow.
And I remember sitting on the front porch, the excitement of waiting for that paper boy to come by and to run out there and get the paper and come in and open it up to the news or the sports and stuff like that.
Uh-huh.
And I also remember I had a route when I was a little boy.
Really?
A paper route, yeah. We lived across from an apartment complex, and we used to deliver it go inside the buildings and deliver it to individual apartments. And that was a major source of income for me. I mean, other than pop bottles, collecting pop bottles from the construction sites around there. But it was a whole culture, really, the newspaper business. Yeah. My dad used to read it every morning and then come home and complain about who's been through the newspaper in the afternoon. And, I forgot to put it back together, that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
I liked reading. Oh, I'm sorry.
No, you go ahead.
I liked reading editorials, letters to the editor. I was so proud. I once wrote a letter to the editor and it showed up. And I actually cut it out with scissors because I knew the paper wasn't going to stick around. And why we save these little things.
Yeah.
People put scrapbooks together of history, of famous newspaper headlines through history.
Uh-huh.
And then they realize as they get older, this scrapbook was all for nothing because now you could just look it up on Wikipedia or on any news source, AP, you just look it up on the internet. So I think how we spend our time and how businesses ran, how they cut costs. I mean, newspapers are almost down to nothing now.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, but it's not like they just stopped doing those things. They just moved them to a different format. And it used to be, the whole thing to me about newspapers was I trusted what was in the newspaper.
Yeah.
I knew it was real. I just knew. And we didn't even question whether it was truth or not.
Uh-huh.
Now,
right.
when you see stuff online, you never know if what you're reading is spun in a political way or if it's the truth. I mean, you just don't know. And that part I miss the truthfulness of the newspaper.
Yeah, I agree.
What you think was the truthfulness?
Oh, you're one of those conspiracy theories. How far back does conspiracy theory go?
It's not that old. They even the expression conspiracy theory is not that old. I heard a little something on that one time, but I don't remember what it was. But it's just been within the past 100 years that's even been used, even though they may have worded it different in other sources and stuff. But conspiracy theory.
Speaking of news,
go ahead. No.
Speaking of news, the original conspiracy theory occurred in the Garden of Eden, when Satan conspired against God and the truth.
Did God really say?
Did God really? Yeah, it was a conspiracy theory. It was spreading.
Okay. I always like classifieds. I mean, classifieds were great.
Yeah.
And I don't know if either one of you have heard it, but on Monday mornings, the Monday version of Let Us Reason Together, John Craig does a section in the first half hour of his show called Shower Thoughts or Headline News. And what he has put together is old classifieds or even classifieds out now that are just crazy stuff, that people put in the paper, and it's like we can't believe that anybody even published what they put in there. But it's oh my gosh, the difference in what you can get, like the Washington Post, the New York Times, all of those you can get right online. Of course, you got to pay for them. And instead of buying individual newspapers now, you just sign up at the website, and you can sign up for a year and get it. Go in there and get it, anything you want, and just jump to different pages. Another great thing about newspapers, they were great to put down on the floor if you were painting or something,
or for your dog.
That's right. Where your dog eats,
Yeah. I think we have to clarify what classifieds are, because today's terminology, classifieds have to do with the government.
That's true. Classifieds were where you could put in something you want to sell, something, you get a hold of somebody or do something, events and things like that.
Or looking want ads too, looking for
want ads,
or jobs too.
Jobs, employment,
Yeah, there's a whole new deal with the internet is jobs. There are multiple websites you can go and put your information in there and see what jobs are available, not only in your local area, but all over the country.
Yeah.
I mean, there's like Indeed, I think, is one of them where, it's anywhere. You just put in where you want to look for jobs and you can go anywhere. Look for those. It's amazing. It's just amazing the different things, and because of the internet. So,
speaking of jobs, can you imagine how many people would be unemployed if the internet wasn't in existence? I mean, so many people have unreal jobs.
Yeah.
Just because they comment about things, so they're on the internet.
Like, the influencers, you mean, like those people?
Yeah, and even the internet streaming, all the different channels you can get that have news people on them, and half of it is all opinions. How many people wouldn't have jobs because they don't contribute anything to society except their opinions? If that was cut out, is like so many people would have no jobs at all.
I think they would just move on to what they used to do.
Which is what?
Don't they only have the job because they get a certain number of clicks, which increases their revenue stream?
Yeah.
So it's really not. Well, yeah, they're providing a service, I suppose. But, then you have the rest of the population that have to make the time during the day to always follow them and to go back to them. And it's like, we come back to the Bible, that the Bible says, watch out who you lift up. And don't make graven images. Well, not everybody is molding and working in liquid bronze anymore. Today's graven images are on the internet.
Yeah.
Like at least if you didn't have the internet that you could search out jobs for, you'd have to literally get out of your pajamas, put some decent clothes on, go out the door, get in your car, and go search for a job.
Yeah.
Literally have to physically go out there and look halfway decent, not like what you wear to Walmart, to go look for a job. And it's like even the generations, the newer generations today, you just wonder if they go looking for a job, are they wearing slacks and a nice shirt and a button-down shirt and everything, or are they just throwing on what they wear out every day? They've got their waistline of their blue jeans halfway down, their bum, and you can see their underwear hanging out. Oh my God! If we walked around like that when we were teenagers, oh my gosh, we'd be smacked around by.
No, wait a minute. In defense of low riding jeans, didn't the old fat men used to pull the belt way up over their belly? I mean, it's the same thing, but in the other direction. And by the way, I got news for you, another news flash, because I have a 30-year-old son. You said they go out and look for jobs. Nobody goes anymore. Everything's happening online. You do an interview online.
Yeah.
Oh, you would only go to the office if they wanted you there for a last interview or to meet you. Then you got to get dressed up. But you could just put on a collared shirt. You could put on a tie, and you could be in your underwear underneath, and no one would know unless you stand up, which you don't want to do. So today's job search is mostly going online. Indeed, all these things that have completely changed what we do.
Mm-hmm.
And you don't even have to go to a job anymore. My daughter works from home.
Yeah.
But she does a job.
Yeah, she does a job, but she works from home. She doesn't have to go anywhere. She takes care of the dogs at home, and it's great for them. It really is.
Yeah.
I hated when COVID came in.
Yeah.
And we had to do everything online. Oh my goodness. It would take me 3 hours to get a half-hour lesson together, and then the kids wouldn't even do it.
Sorry, Larry.
It takes so much to do stuff online. If you're a teacher, I would rather be in the classroom, physically talking to them, But the last 3 snow days that we've just had, there weren't real. I heard somebody on the internet talking about how when they were kids, when you had snow days, you didn't have to do nothing. That was just put into the calendar, and if there were more than 4 snow days, you would just add on a day at the end of the year. But now the kids have to actually do stuff when they're at home because of the snow day, which means the teachers have to do stuff.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Wow. It's a socialist conspiracy. Everybody must work. Nobody has time off.
No.
Play.
What's with this?
Yeah, really. What's with the Russian?
And you will like it.
All right. Well, right now we have new acronyms like URL and HTTP and FTP. These are things that we never had. David's going, what are you talking about? Is that language you don't understand or what? You know what a URL is, don't you, David?
United Rebel League.
No, I think it's. I thought it was an unregistered license. What is it?
That's
for instance, if you go to messianiclambradio.com, that messianiclambradio.com is a URL.
Oh,
it's the address of the websites you go to. In the upper part of your browser where
I get it.
That's a URL.
What does it stand for?
Utter ridiculous language.
Okay, you don't know either.
Well, I know what HTTP. You know what an HTTP is, David?
Home garden.
Something about Indians.
Look, if you look up into your browser into that URL thing, it's almost always the very first thing in the URL. And it stands for hypertext something protocol. I just thought of it. Hypertext Transfer Protocol is what it stands for.
HTTP.
Right.
Okay.
You don't need to type that in. You can just type in something.com, right?
Yeah, you just put that in there, but it'll pop up because that has to be a part of the URL.
Used to be when I was a kid that you had to type the whole thing in.
I know it. I know.
And I would mess
That's
it
right.
up every time. Too many
That's
T's or not enough T's.
Well, then thank God for search engines.
Yes.
Search engines. There's another term we never knew 30, 40 years ago, 50 years ago.
We had
Search
fire
engine.
engines, but not.
Yeah, I know it. All kinds of different things. Yeah, David, go ahead. What's the
Search engines really help me a lot with my sermons and stuff. Not because I want to take somebody else's sermon, but only because I can see once I get an idea that the Lord gives to me, because when I'm doing a sermon, it always starts with me reading physical text of the Bible. And then I invite God in to just illuminate what he wants me to see for this year's cycle. And then when I get an idea and I write it down, I want to see if anybody else thought of this idea. And if there's some angles about the idea that might be useful. And I really learn a lot by looking through those search engines at a variety of ideas. So I really like them. The only downside, of course, is that whatever you click, you're going to start getting advertisements relating to that somehow. Or, if you're going through like news, you're just looking at a variety of pictures, say on Microsoft. Then there'll be things that are related to what you looked at.
Right.
So, we know we're being spied upon and like there goes privacy, but I guess that's the price we pay for worldwide knowledge.
You can look up a topic in a search engine these days. It used to be, like 20 years ago or whatever, you'd do it and you'd get a couple of hundred different websites that, that pertain to that topic. Now you put a topic in and you got 4,926,237,000 different websites that have to do with, that topic. It's everywhere. All you got to do is have just 2 or 3 words, and if those words are in a website within seconds, you've got millions of different websites, and it's just my God.
You know what I love about those 4 billion and such things you talked about? Only in the last year will AI sum up the most popular ones, the ones that are repeated the most. And so you can get a synopsis that is not making stuff up. It's just drawing what is getting the most communication. And AI will synopsize it for you.
Speaking of synopsize, since that's a $1,000 word there. We used to have in school what's called a speller, and every week I used to quiz. When I was a kid, I got quizzed every week on a set of 20 spelling words.
Like spelling bee?
Oh,
yeah, like a spelling bee. Didn't you guys have spellers when you went to school?
Gosh,
I don't know if we called them
1960s, early 1960s.
Yeah, we had a book called The Speller, and it was divided up into every week a new list of 20 words that you had to memorize and know the definitions and stuff. And when I was teaching in the 70s, we still had that, but now they don't have that anymore because you have spell check.
Right.
You don't have to know how to spell words.
Right.
And everything is corrected for you, especially on your phone when you don't want it corrected.
You don't even have to know how to write anymore.
No,
you just
don't.
type.
Right, which most kids these days don't.
They don't do cursive, do they?
And
That's
they
not taught.
take words and make them smaller. They only use like one syllable out of a whole word. If a word's got 4 syllables in it, they pick one, and that's their language a lot anymore.
Yeah.
So you don't have to know how to spell. You just have to know how to get your point across. Is pretty much it. Not us old guys. I can't do it. When I'm texting, I'm still putting full words in, and and question marks and everything else. I just can't do it otherwise.
Yeah. I remember teaching about the Civil War, and we had letters that soldiers would send home, and the kids would always make fun of the guys because they spelled things grammatically and stuff like that. And nowadays, one of the comments was, "Why did these guys use spell check when they were writing home?" It's like, this is 200 years or 100 years ago. What are you talking about? Well, they could have used spell check.
Wow.
Okay.
You brought back a very old memory, Larry. I remember, I hadn't thought about the weekly spelling tests it was a test that we had every year in like 2nd and 3rd grade. And we had to use pencil in case we needed to erase. And we had a print. We were not allowed to write cursively, so the teacher could grade it easily. We had to skip lines, and we had to number our paper 1 to 10 or 1 to 15. And and we did, and you know what? Doing things like spelling, it made me a better person. Doing math in my head made me a better person. Today's kids cannot do simple math.
I agree.
They
just use calculators.
Yeah.
And cash registers.
Oh,
and they have difficulty figuring out the change. It's like, do you want me to help you? Listen, no, get your hand out of there. It's like, well, come on now.
All right. Well, while you were saying that, David, I was thinking, my gosh, you're 100% right. When I was learning to spell and how that all broke apart, and adverbs and verbs and nouns, that actually made me have to think about it. Whereas today, when it's not that big a deal and you can just use internet and calculators and stuff like that, they don't have that process of reasoning and thinking through things and having to put stuff together like we did when we were growing up. We were made to process the things that we were learning and going through in life. And I think it made us better human beings because we learned that way. And now today it's like, you run into these young people that can't use a rotary phone. I mean, they can't even figure out. You pick up the deal, you dial, and then you talk, and it's amazing the difference between how times have changed. And a lot of it, the majority of it to me, is because of the internet. Because of the ability.
I know it seems like they know less than we do, but remember, kids today can go, if our computer crashes or has an issue, kids today can go through it a lot quicker than we can. So they know stuff. It's just different.
Yeah.
And I think the smart ones will always know.
Here's a thought. We got to where we are today because of what we learned. The analysis and stuff. We're going to get to where we're going because of AI, not because of what we're being taught in elementary school and stuff. It's what we've got right now. AI is taking over and going to take us to the next level. And it's getting to be the elitists, the people that are very, very intelligent are going to rule the world if the Lord allows that to happen. Because we've got an elitist group now that's trying to take over the world.
I think that's always been the way too. I mean, you look at the most wealthy people in America, the robber barons, so to speak, the ones who didn't start with a lot of money either. They just had good ideas that worked economically. The ones who built the railroads and the ones who built hotel chains and stuff. And these people kind of, there'll always be a group that is controlling society because they have an idea that everybody wants and craves.
Mm-hmm.
There are two groups, though, that still do things like they did literally hundreds of years ago, and that's the Amish and the ultra-Orthodox Jews.
Yeah.
So I know of some ultra-Orthodox Jews, they can also use phones if they're allowed to. It's a separate phone from the one they're given in the yeshiva. But the yeshiva kids still use books. They still use a Chumash, a Torah. They still look at Torah scrolls. They're doing things the old way.
Right.
Now, of course, they're also very secluded and cloistered. And so when they get out and if they want to kind of see the world and mix with the world a little bit, they have to live two separate lives. So they're given a phone that has a lot of restrictions on it that's allowed by the yeshiva rabbi.
Wow.
But then they would have a second phone that is open, but they can't get caught with that second phone. So
I see. Yeah.
That's what happens in the Orthodox Jewish community.
In the Amish, it's more a community-based thing. That because I've been in Amish communities and they just don't use electricity; they use propane. So they have propane refrigerators and propane freezers and stuff like that. But I saw a video of one group moving a barn, a regular size barn, and all the men got inside the barn, lifted it up, and moved it 2 miles down the road. And it was an incredible video to watch this.
I'll bet.
And they just got together to do it.
Yes.
A guy had to move his barn.
But were they standing on a floor that was attached to the part that they moved?
They had the not rafters on them. They had the beams across the bottom.
Okay.
And they picked up the whole thing by the beams, and they just walked it down the road. They had a guy out front yelling to the left, to the right.
Yeah.
I guess it was in German, and they. It was incredible to watch.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
And all the Yankees, which is what they call us normal people, all the Yankees were standing around taking pictures of this, and stuff.
Yeah, sure.
It's like, look at this.
Yeah. Interesting. Wow. All right, let's move along, or we won't get done with this.
Well, the last thing I want to say about the Amish is,
yeah.
The internet has stopped communities from being communities. Everybody is in a community online now instead of an actual physical community.
I didn't know that. Oh, interesting. Okay. So in my notes, I have anyone can express their life using their own personal web page. They have blogs and podcasts, and I just saw that Netflix just announced that they have an all new category called podcast. Is a big deal, and it's personal. These are personal things that people come up with, and they can now communicate through the internet, which they weren't able to do before. Businesses can promote, advertise, and present protocols, etc., on their commercial web pages. Once I learned to make web pages years ago, man, that was one of the funnest things that I ever did. In creating the LAM network and creating the different software that works with each other to make this happen. You guys don't realize it, but there's 5 different softwares that are getting our broadcast to the website.
Wow.
5 different software, and they all have to work together in unison to get this over to it, and it's amazing, which, like I say, couldn't have done before. But there's things like online shopping. My gosh, just think of the fact that you can buy something from Amazon, which is on the other side of the United States to you, and you can buy it in the next 3 minutes. I could buy something in California and have it shipped to me, and I never walked out my door.
Yeah.
And I have it here. Hey, I've had stuff shipped from China and across the seas and all kinds of stuff that I need to make my station work and everything. So my gosh, online shopping has just become massive.
And it also means that downtowns and malls have changed because a lot of stores are closing. People have to find work in other areas than just merely selling and doing inventory. They have to work at a large Amazon warehouse that might be coming your way next week. So
Walmart has shut down 250 mega stores in California.
Really?
250.
Why?
Because of all the government stuff they have to go through. They're just not being profitable anymore. So that's 250 stores that people don't have a job anymore.
100 people a store.
Yeah.
But Walmart was smart in one way. Of the largest retailers, Walmart was the first one on their website that started being a third party representative. So when you see an item that might show up on the Walmart website, they won't ever have it in any of their local Walmart stores. They're just getting it from like Amazon. It's like it's become kind of like another Amazon. And sometimes the prices can be cheaper than Amazon too.
Yeah.
That's a good thing. Good competition for Amazon.
Well, if you do a search on about any browser for anything like a DVD or something, you do that search, all of a sudden it shows you multiple places you can buy it, and Walmart's always in the list somewhere. And Amazon and eBay and all of that are always on that list of where you can buy this item. I mean, think of what we had to do to get that item before the internet. It's just it's ridiculous. It's
you had to physically go from store to store.
Yeah.
That's what shopping was all about.
Right. Yeah. And then have the money for it and do what you need to do. All right. Next thing I got on the list is video, movie, and TV streaming. On demand, like Netflix and Amazon, HBO, Hulu, Paramount, Peacock, Apple TV Plus, Tubi, Pluto, Crackle, Vudu, YouTube, and of course the mighty Disney.
Yes,
Disney. Remember Disney before the internet? You go to the theater and watch whatever new movie they came out with, and that was about the biggest part of Disney, of course, besides Disneyland. Do you know how many companies Disney now owns that are on the internet that are doing stuff?
I would say 50% of those that are on the net.
Well, here's the list: Pixar, Marvel, Lucasfilm, 21st Century Fox, ABC, ESPN, Disney Cruise Line, of course, multiple theme parks. But all of those major companies are owned by Disney, and they go through multiple formats and all kinds of stuff. In our day, the only way to watch movies was at the theater. And the only way to watch TV shows was through a TV with an antenna in our day. Remember that? Remember that? There were only 3 TV stations.
Yeah.
And you had to go to the theater, any theater that was playing the newest film. And then that's the only time you ever get to see that movie.
Yeah.
From our day, if we went and watched a movie at the theater, that's it.
Yeah.
You know, oh, great. Well, I'll never see that again. You know, today you can buy the DVD or the Blu-ray and watch it a billion times if you want.
Yep.
You know, any movie, even the old ones now. You know.
Yeah, you can stream 1930 movies.
That's right. That's right.
And you can kind of tell the difference between 1930 movies and today's movies.
You know, that I think what's pretty amazing too is that the library has changed as well. It's almost can be hard. I mean, you can always find a book in the library, but it's just a matter of time before they're going to eliminate the space and the people needed to categorize these books when people can just download it on their phone.
Yeah.
So I'll use Hoopla to you know, a lot of movies that I want to watch. I can check them out by getting a physical DVD, or I can just download it on Hoopla if it's available. And as time goes on, that proportion of how many are available online to watch on your phone or on a device you cast to, it's getting bigger. So today's library has changed a lot. I still see kids going in, little kids, their moms have them check out piles of kids' books, you know, that they read every week. But when these kids get a little bit older, if they still like to read, they'll just do it on their phones. And that's one thing I appreciate a lot. To have to carry around a book, it's much more convenient just to download it on your phone.
Yeah.
So I welcome that change.
Are you familiar with IMDb?
Oh, yes.
Yeah. Do you know what it stands for?
No.
Internet Movie Database.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. It's just a fountain of information for actors.
Oh my gosh.
Movies and seeing critical reviews of stuff. And
massive thing. They also have a site called Just Watch. I think you can go to justwatch.com. Let me look it up here. I've got it here. Hold up. And you can type in, let's see, Just Watch is justwatch.com, and it's an IMDb website, and you can type in any movie, TV show you want to find, and it'll tell you where on the internet you can watch it.
Yeah.
For free, or rent it, or buy it, or anything. Justwatch.com. I mean, it's not only the fact that you can do it, but they make it extremely easy to do.
But they're giving you a third party. It's not them that you watch it from, right? It's a place.
That's right. IMDb does not stream anything.
And you never know when you're going onto a place if the place is going to infect your device with a virus. Or malware. You just don't know. And then, and then you start getting these false warnings. The false warnings, you have malware, just click here or your phone's going to be of no use. Like, I fell for that once and never again,
Yeah. Don't click on anything.
Yeah.
All right. Then came Betamaxes, VCRs, and TiVo. I remember when I can still remember when the first video store opened up in the town where I was living, and it was a video store, and I was hearing that there was this thing called a Betamax, and you can go get movies you want to watch, bring it home and watch the movies. And I remember going to this video store, and they offered you a rent to buy, like Betamax. and they would give you a Betamax you could take home, and every week you made a payment on it, and you got 3 free movies, until it was paid off, and then it was yours, and then all you got to do is rent movies. And I mean, I was like, oh my gosh, the world has become huge to me.
It's the Garden of Eden.
First movie I rented was Star Wars, the first Star Wars movie, and I still remember it because it was so huge of a deal to me to be able to do all that. Now it's just, I don't know how many DVRs or players I've had since then. Of course, then there's cable where you can watch both movies and TVs. And the last thing I have based on internet stuff is video streaming on demand, like YouTube, Facebook, Twitch, Vimeo, Daily Motion, Bright Cove, Instagram, Rumble. All of these things you can go find just a multiple variety of videos that people put out live, like us right here. The Lamb Network is part of that video streaming, and we have on demand. This show right now, we're broadcasting live, will be up on our on demand, so you can go watch it anytime you want to. As a matter of fact, Lamb can broadcast to multiple destinations at the same time. I mean, we can broadcast to YouTube, Facebook, Twitch, Vimeo, all those different ones. We can broadcast to all of those at exactly the same time.
With all of these ever widening ways to be entertained, if we ask ourselves, is that making us, how can it make us closer to God, if at all? Because it seems like what it does is it's just more distraction, more whiz bangs and flashing lights to just pull us away. I mean, what did we do when we didn't have all this technology? We would sit down and we would read a book. And if we were godly people, we'd read the good book. And now with all these distractions going on, I mean, even cartoons for kids, yes, they can watch Veggie Tales, and parents will probably believe that, well, this is going to help my child's walk with God. And if God is mentioned, to him be the glory. But I think we're seeing we're seeing a society which is just having more distractions to keep them from communing with the Lord. And I mean, look, I'm no saint. I'll sit down and veg out for an afternoon, just scrolling through the guide on the cable box, seeing what is there to watch that I can do. It's almost tells you how to be entertained, and all that time it could make people really passive in a way that they're not thinking much anymore. Yeah.
And look how community standards have changed over our lifetime. Yeah. Those at the top of the movie now, you got what's going to be in there, language.
Nudity.
Before, we used to just have little labels saying that this is for general audience.
Yeah, G and R and yeah.
And before that, there wasn't anything, so the community had to tell. I remember reading the local newspaper, and they would analyze the movies and tell you what the movies were and whether it's a family-oriented thing or not. Now they're just
nothing.
Anything goes.
Yeah.
And anybody can make a movie now. It used to be just coming from Hollywood, from California, all the major movie companies. Now, anybody can make a movie. You can tell that by, if you watch a movie now, the first 15 minutes are all the different companies that have paid for
that's right.
Stuff, It used to be just MGM,
Yeah.
and that was it. And
Yeah.
then you got into the movie. So everybody's in the business. Everybody's got their own morals, and it's hard to pick through different things now. It takes more effort to be entertained, or you just give up and say, I'm just going to watch it. What the heck?
Or you go to Angel Network. I mean, there are networks coming up now that biblical movies are becoming more popular. The
They
Chosen has become a blockbuster series that
Yeah.
gives rise to the desire for movie studios to be really focused on good content,
Yeah.
moral content, godly content, and I think that's a step in the right direction. That besides Angel Studios, what other godly websites or studios can you recommend to the audience besides Angel, if you know any?
There's a Wonder. Is that it? They did the House of David.
Yes. Oh yeah.
I think that's a website now. You can go. There's all kinds of biblical movies on that frame there. I can't think of any other. But we're talking about people that are actually seeking God. But back when we were kids, there was your community standards that you didn't have to be seeking God, and you would have some godly stuff going on. You didn't have to search it out because there were more community standards that people agreed to. And now it's all individual. You have to search things out, which is a big change in our lives.
Yeah.
Okay. I looked up, this is the top 10 Christian TV streaming services in 2026. Pure Flix, Fix Plus, Media, B, Up Eighth, Angel, Living Scriptures, his channel, Dove channel, Mino, and Answers in Genesis. So, and on here it's got TBN, CBN, Tubi offers free streaming of faith movies and TV shows online.
Good to know.
So those are yeah, good to know. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Okay, final question on internet. If we never had internet, would we know any of the terms in the last section? Would we? About the only term we'd know is Disney. Think about it. YouTube, Facebook, Pixar, Marvel, we see Netflix, Amazon. Would we know any of those places? Or those places wouldn't exist if we didn't have internet.
No.
I give that question a 6-7.
6-7. Good one, brother.
They might know it. They might not. I don't know. It all depends.
Well, is there anything else that you guys, we got about 5-6 minutes here. Anything else that you guys can think of that, as far as internet's concerned, the things that have changed our lives so much, because it's the entire world has changed because of the internet. It really has.
Just the danger that is posed, as to how a foreign enemy would start in our country is to find a way to shut down the internet on a national basis. I know there's smart people behind the scenes that have kind of firewalls and protections for this stuff, and that's a good thing. So, they don't advertise it, because some 16-year-old Einstein hack is going to try and hack into it and prove that he can beat it.
Mhm.
So I know that is a threat, but that is also something that our top people are working on.
To point out how much the internet is a part of our lives now, Iran, they shut down the internet for their country.
Yeah.
And I've heard that it has cost them tens of millions of dollars to shut it down.
Really?
Yeah. Because they have to use so much technology to make sure that no one is receiving the internet.
Wow.
So if the United States were to do that to us, our tax dollars would be going to shutting us out of the internet. So, which is really weird to me.
Well, I think if that happened in the United States and most other major countries, you'd start seeing a whole lot of black market internet companies.
Oh yeah.
Ways, and then you're completely wide open. I'd be scared to death to do it, to get it on the internet through a company that I didn't trust.
Yeah.
We would just be making Elon Musk richer through his Starlink satellite system. You don't have to worry if your phone goes out. You just have a satellite phone, and you could still call other people that have satellite phones, I suppose. So the internet it's all the stuff about buried fiber optics. I think pretty soon there's going to be a lot more satellites circling the globe and using technology that might be harder to hack. I don't know.
And you'll have to have cops up there directing traffic for all the satellites that are up there.
Star Wars.
That's right.
Satellite wars. There you go. A lot of them satellites have weapons on them.
Yeah.
Lasers. You didn't know that, David? Sure, you knew that.
I thought this thing about Jewish lasers was just a hoax that Marjorie Taylor Greene was putting out.
No.
That's apparently you haven't seen any of the newest movies because they all talk about.
I like westerns. The older I get, the more I like.
I'm just giving you a hard time. I get my news from watching movies. If I want to see what's going on in the world, I watch it.
Or what's in the future coming.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, they're pretty accurate. So, well, we've covered a lot. We've taken 4 1-hour episodes just to talk about the internet. So, it's just a huge deal from when we were kids. I mean, if somebody had told us what we were able to do today when we were in our teens or 20 years old or whatever, if somebody had told us, we'd have said, yeah, that's space age that's alien technology there. It's like, yeah, I know. It's like things we were watching Star Trek and that type of thing when we were growing up, and all those things, and on the Jetsons, I mean, you go from Flintstones to Jetsons. You want to go through time and watch cartoons. That's what you do. Watch the Flintstones and then watch the Jetsons. So, anyway.
And how much of our life has that taken up? When did the internet come on?
When did it come on? About 1992 is when it really hit huge.
So that's only 30. That's only about less than half of our lives.
Yeah, that's right.
And it's just become.
So tell a teenager today that half of your life you didn't have internet.
Yeah. What did you do?
What did you do for half of your life? All right. We got to go. Go ahead, David. You had one more thing to say.
No, it was the funniest part of the video to me, but the kids with the rotary phone, was that none of them knew the only way to get a dial tone was to pick the receiver up. And they thought somehow there was some speaker in the back of the phone that if they dialed some numbers, something was going to happen.
I like the girl. The guys kept trying to do it. The girl says, no, I know how to do it. I figured it out. Walked up to it. She still had no idea how it worked. All right, we got to go. I love you guys. We're going to see what David's going to bring us for the Torah portion this week.
Amen.
So we'll be right back after this.
I'm always bad, my way is so bad. Sure is good, your way makes me glad. I'm always bad, my way is so bad. Sure is good, your way makes me glad. HaTorah, HaTorah, Torah.
Hallelujah, hallelujah. I hope you're having a Shavua Tov and Shabbat Shalom if you're watching this on the Shabbat, and a Shavua Tov, of course, if you're watching the archived version. This Parsha is Parsha Yitro we are looking at today for this coming Shabbat. And there's only 3 chapters in it, Exodus 18, 19, and 20. In 18, Moses' father-in-law, Jethro, or Yitro, to use his Hebrew name, he is giving Moses advice about choosing elders that's going to help him govern the people. And that becomes almost a hallmark for how a community is to work better, to get people involved and not have one supreme leader, but the people must be chosen carefully. Exodus 20, I'll skip to, is the very famous chapter where God speaks to the entire nation of Israel, and they all hear his voice at the same time as he speaks aloud the 10 commandments, and that's what chapter 20 is all about. Chapter 19 is what I'm going to talk about today, and I find chapter 19 quite amazing, and we'll just get right into it. So in chapter 19, in the 3rd month after the people of Israel had left the land of Egypt, the same day they came to the Sinai desert. And after setting out from Rephidim and arriving at the Sinai desert, they set up camp in the desert. There in front of the mountain, Israel set up camp. So now they're at the base of Sinai, and they're going to be there for 2 years. So it says, I'm going to read verses 3 to 8, and then we'll talk about it. Moshe went up to God, and Adonai called to him from the mountain. Here is what you are to say to the household of Yaakov, to tell the people of Israel. You have seen what I did to the Egyptians, and how I carried you on eagle's wings and brought you to myself. Now, if you will pay careful attention to what I say and keep my covenant, you will be my own treasure from among all the peoples, for all the earth is mine. And you will be a kingdom of Kohanim for me, a nation set apart. These are the words you are to speak to the people of Israel. Moshe came, summoned the leaders of the people, and presented them with all these words which Adonai had ordered him to say. All the people answered as one, everything Adonai has said, we will do. Moshe reported the words of the people to Adonai. So here's what I want to talk about today. God is telling Moses to tell the people of Israel they're going to be really special. They're going to be a kingdom of priests. I mean, he tells them a lot of things that are great, that are almost a gift from God. He's drawing them in and says, if you will obey my word and give, in a way, give your troth to me, to use an old term, this is what you're going to get. You're going to get a lot of stuff. You're going to have favored nation status, to use a modern term. You're going to be a kingdom. You're going from slaves to being a kingdom of priests. So they're being told all this stuff they're going to be given. But we cannot forget, and I think that's one of the reasons why they said, we will do everything God has said. But there is something else, and there is a condition that they have to obey. They have to bow down. And we have to go back to the phrase that said, says, that let my people go that they may serve me. Let my people go that they may serve me. So Israel is called first and foremost, not first to be a kingdom of priests, but first to be servants of the Lord. And I think what I want to ask is that my two good friends, as they are brought in, what I want to ask is, I'm wondering if the message going out to people today is when the gospel is preached and churches and Messianic synagogues are trying to draw people in, are they more concerned? Are they too concerned with what you're going to get out of it if you come to Yeshua, rather than how you have to serve? Because I think understanding that the life of a believer is a whole lot more than just getting stuff, a whole lot more than just being a favored person. Because it includes listening to God and obeying God and how he wants you to serve him. And service means you're going to put him first. Service means you are going to be going into areas, working in areas, and even changing your emotional responses to what the flesh wants you to do. That there's going to be a real willingness, a loving willingness to be a servant. In other words, they did go from being slaves of Egyptians to being servants of the Most High God. And sometimes the word eved is used for both in Hebrew. Anyway, I invite my friends in, and with the basic question, do houses of worship today talk too much about what you're getting out of it and all the good things you're going to get, but not enough about God wants you to be serving him? What do you think?
Well, my first reaction is to the phrase "a kingdom of priests," and if you analyze what it really means to be a priest, it has nothing to do with offering up sacrifices, and so it is serving the Lord. That's what the tribe of Levi was to do. They were to serve the Lord. That's why they were set apart to do that. And so your question about what was your question?
Our houses of worship today.
Yeah.
Are they? Yeah.
And I think it's interesting that some of the translations of the Bible say, "Let my people go so that they may worship me," when it actually, as you said, is "serve me." Priests are like a go-between, a representative of whatever their God is. And we are to be that representative. Our places of worship, they're supposed to be instructing people on how to represent God, not just to congregate once a week and do this praise and worship thing, but to be taught how to represent God. And I do not think, at least my experiences with the being in churches and stuff, we are not being instructed, or the churches are not instructing people on how to represent God. First of all, they don't talk about the Torah, which is what the Lord was presenting to Israel as representative of what they were going to show to the world, how to live a good life, and the results of living according to the Torah. You live a good life and a long life. So they're not presenting the Torah, they are not instructing people on how to represent the Lord.
That's right.
And in fact, they're teaching blasphemy about the Lord when they say that Yeshua came to do away with the Torah. So yeah, I don't think they're doing the job. As for Messianic congregations, they are trying, and at least they're teaching the Torah and making people think about, is my life lined up with the Torah? And if I'm going to be saying that we are different from the church because we follow the Torah, how is that going to be presented to the world? Instead of getting into arguments with people like I do all the time, it's you have to show how your life is different from theirs. Not they're doing the wrong thing, but how your life is different from theirs, and the good results of that.
Yeah.
Thank you.
I think. Go ahead, David.
No, go ahead. I was just saying that. Thank you for that.
I think each ministry is different, whether Christian, Messianic, whatever they are. It really has to do with the leader of the ministry and where his heart is, and his or her heart, and how they portray this. I always tell the story of this young teenage boy that's in high school, and he is odd. He's different than others, may not look like or act like a lot of the others, and they give him a hard time, and he really doesn't have any friends. And then two Christian boys invite him to a Billy Graham crusade. And, they invited him. He doesn't have any friends. So he thought, well, this is cool. Yeah, I'll go check it out. And so he goes and he hears Billy Graham and all the people speak. And then they give an altar call, and he thinks this is just really cool. So he goes down front and he says the little prayer with everybody else. Okay. Then he walks away from the Billy Graham crusade, and he got saved. And now go 40 years later, and he's standing out on a street, homeless, higher than a kite, drunker than a skunk. And some preacher walks up to him and says, "Mister, you need to get saved." And the guy says, "No, I got saved when I was in high school. I don't need to get saved now." And to me, that story is basically the idea that most ministries are out for quality or quantity, not quality. In other words, the more people they can get saved, the more they look like they're successful, all this. When in fact, like I have this saying, I say, no man goes into war without first counting the cost. That's not in the Bible, but the Bible teaches that you must understand what it is that you're getting into, and walking with the Lord is a battle. It's a battle that you have to battle against the worldly ways and God's ways and this type of thing. To me, it's a simple fact that most people don't understand. Yeshua did not say, "Go ye into all the world and get people saved." He didn't say that. It's nowhere in the Bible. But he did say, "Go make disciples. Go make Talmudim." To me, what is that? That is going out and explaining to people what the kingdom of God is all about, so that they understand that, and they understand that they are servants. They are people that are serving God and others around them. The whole idea of being saved and being in the kingdom is not all about you. As a matter of fact, you have already been taken care of. If you understand what you're getting into and you get saved, your whole job for you is done. That's it. Your job for you is done. Now you, of course, need to read the Bible and understand and go to services and commune with people and all that kind of thing. But that is so that when you talk to somebody else, then you understand, and that you're a servant to them. You're a servant to God to explain those things. And so I think any ministry that doesn't take into light that they need to train people to understand the kingdom of God and not just go out and get people saved. See?
Boy, I think you hit the nail on the head in so many ways, Mark. You know, the people, look, Israel has made this mistake through their ancient history of wanting a king. And they wanted a king like the other nations did. But what did God do? He didn't give them a king at first. He gave them a servant.
Yeah.
They wanted a king. He gave them a servant. Why? To show them that they hadn't yet done the first job, which is serving God the way he wanted to be served.
That's right.
They wanted Elohim, the mighty God, but then they feared his might and his holiness. And they said, you speak to God, Moses, because we're afraid. And people today may get so caught up with this royal priesthood, you know, and anybody who's grafted in through Yeshua can claim this royal priesthood. And they may be so concerned about being kings and queens that they forget that they're really called to be servants. You know, they're so concerned with the royalty, but as Kohanim, they're working day and night serving Israel, and eventually they'd be serving the world if they all became a kingdom of priests.
Yeah.
And so I think that's something that's kind of lost today is, you know, too much emphasis on telling people you are part of a royal priesthood, you're part of a royal kingdom, and, you know, but they got to throw that crown down and learn how to serve.
Mm.
Yeah.
Mm.
That's right. That's fact. It seems to me as though that is our mentality, our new personality is, well, hopefully it was your old personality too, is to have empathy for people and understand those things, and because of this walk that you are now learning, that you have a little bit more of wanting to do those things, and within helping people, also hopefully drawing them to a life with Messiah also.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And I think it gets back again to what I said before. What is your definition of a priest? To me, a priest is simply a representative.
Yeah.
So yes, Israel was to be a representative for the one true God to all the nations, so that they will find out how good it is to have the God of the universe be their God and not all these other gods.
Yeah.
And that is our job too.
Yeah.
We are to represent him for the people, to show how good it is to have the God of the universe be their God too.
Yeah.
Yeah. You know,
to walk in his righteousness.
I would hate to stand before the Lord on Judgment Day and he say, well, you got a lot of people saved, but none of them served me.
Yes.
I would hate to have the Lord tell me that on Judgment Day.
So is that on the people, or is that on something you didn't do in your discipleship?
I think it has to do with the leaders of the groups that have not trained their people well. This is not something we just know how to do at all. If you're a newly saved Christian, you don't know how to do this. This is not something that comes naturally, is to go out and witness to people. You have to be trained. That's why I say Yeshua said, go make disciples, go make Talmudim. Don't just go get people saved.
Yeah, you know, a lot of people, you brought to mind that a lot of people used to love the name it and claim it doctrine, the prosperity doctrine. And they're drawn to that like, wow, if I give my life to Yeshua, I'm going to be rich. You know, it says the windows of heaven are going to open up and pour down riches upon me. But they're misunderstanding the type of riches that heaven is going to pour down. And what God wants first for people is to nail the flesh to the crucifixion stake, to put away, to opt, instead of anger, opt for praying for somebody, and instead of justice all the time, maybe consider mercy, instead of just judgment, and instead of just doing ministries that people will stop doing suddenly if they leave the church, are we equipping them to learn how to give time and help no matter which house of worship they're in? I think being servants is more than just, okay, brother, which ministry do you want to pick? Look at all the different ministries we do. Because whatever you pick, the moment you leave that congregation, you're not doing that anymore. So maybe we should equip them and have them do something that they can take with them, even if they don't stay.
Mm-hmm.
Good point.
Yeah,
Very
good.
good.
And speaking of priests, we do know that Yitro is actually a word that means Cohen of Midian. It's a priest of Midian. That wasn't his name. Jethro is the Greek form of Yitro, but Yitro was not Ruel. Reuel was Yitro's actual name. And when I found that out, that was an epiphany to me. I don't know why, but it was, and because I had heard so many people talk about how it was Yitro or Jethro was his name, and it's like when I found that out, it's like, well, that makes a difference to me. I would like to know what his title was, who he was, and why he thought he could go talk to Moses the way he did. And anyway, I just remember it being a vital moment in my understanding of Torah. I don't know why, but also the fact that his father-in-law helped him to understand how to delegate, and that's also another thing within witnessing to people, which teaching people how to delegate, because if you understand things, then you'll know how to place things in an organized way. And that's what delegation is placing people or things in an organized way. And of course, that's a big deal to me. So anyway, I just remember that being a major epiphany for something that I had learned.
Yeah, that's good, Mark.
Yeah.
Jethro is such an interesting character. I think he has another name, Hobar or something.
Oh, yeah. He has 7 different names that he's been.
And you know what? I think he was kind of like the wise men that came to see Yeshua when he was born. I think he was a person that was in a society where there were a lot of different religions and gods, if you will. And I think he came to know that the God of Israel is the one true God and is the highest deity that there is.
Yeah.
And that all the other gods are false gods.
Right.
I think he came to this knowledge, which is why we read about him later on in Scripture, and he's referred to, as one who was grafted into Israel.
Well, when Moshe left Egypt, when he saw the guy kill, somebody else, and he left and went and drew water and all that up on the mountain, he was in Midian for 40 years.
Yes.
In Midian, he lived in Midian. And if you read, there's an article in Encyclopedia Judaica that talks about during those 40 years, Moshe had reached the rank of chief of war or like a general, what we would think as a general within the army of Midian. He was a very highly respected man in Midian. And so when he went back and took the people out and Yitro came up, Yitro and him were very close. They knew each other because they'd spent so much time together in Midian that his advice to Moshe was priceless to him, just priceless because of their relationship. That's something else that I learned back in those days. All kinds of things that we don't know that are in the Bible, but are historical understandings. Let's put it that way.
Wow, I didn't know any of that you said that he was.
Yeah.
That he was part of a general. He was a general in Midian.
Yeah. Very highly respected in Midian.
Wow.
Yeah, the 7 names were Reuel, Yeter, Yetro, Chovav, Chaver, Kaini, and Petiel. Yeter. And Rashi goes through why he was given all these names.
Yeah. Well, some of them are titles. They're not actual names. Some of them are titles of things. That when I found that out, it sparked a major research for me that found out all kinds of stuff. Anyway, we got less than a minute, guys. So tie it up there, Rabbi David.
Wow. Look, if you guys who are listening, if you're tired of a variety of worship places, then do home worship, and who knows what the Lord can grow it into, and perhaps you can grow a place of worship from your own home that will grow and grow and be exactly what you've always been looking for, which is how to be a servant of God and train others to be servants of God, whether they stay or they leave. God bless you.
Amen.
Yeah. Amen.
God bless. We'll see you next week, hopefully.
Yep.
All right. God bless. Have a great week. Shavua Tov.
Shavua Tov.
Shavua Tov.
If you missed today's show or want to watch it again or want to tell someone where they can watch this episode, go to lambnetwork.tv, where you will find this show and all other live Lamb Show archives in the on-demand section of the website. Thank you for watching, and don't forget to tell somebody about the Messianic Lamb Network.
They should be white as snow, white as snow, white wool.
We are richly blessed to bring you what we believe is the fullest, most diverse, yet up-to-date progressive teachings, discussion, and prayer programming you can find anywhere on this planet. Be sure to take the tour of the MessianicLambRadio.com website. I'm Susan Hoogie, thanking you for joining us on the Messianic Lamb Video Network.
White as snow.